Jennifer sat herself at the edge of the pier, sighing and staring out at the vast expanse of dark waters before her. The sound of gentle waves lapping against the shore echoed in the night, casting an eerie atmosphere over the scene. The moon's pale glow barely illuminated the surroundings, leaving Jennifer feeling a sense of unease. She had always found solace in the water. Boating was her escape from the pressures of everyday life, a way to find peace and clarity. But tonight, something felt different. The air was heavy with an unspoken tension, and the usual sense of tranquility had been replaced by an unsettling stillness. As she gazed out onto the water, a shiver ran down Jennifer's spine. She couldn't shake the feeling that she was being watched. A cold breeze whispered through the air, causing her to wrap her arms tightly around herself. Unnerved, she decided to head back to her boat, hoping the familiar surroundings would provide some comfort. With cautious steps, Jennifer made her way down the pier, the creaking of the old wooden planks adding to the eerie atmosphere. The sound seemed to grow louder with each step, echoing through the empty night. Finally reaching her boat, she climbed aboard and cast off, the engine humming to life as she steered out into the open waters. The darkness enveloped her, and Jennifer felt a sense of isolation. She had always enjoyed the solitude, but tonight it felt suffocating. Her heart raced as she glanced over her shoulder, half expecting to see someone or something lurking in the shadows. The fear gnawed at her, urging her to turn back, but a voice inside her urged her to push forward, to confront whatever darkness lay ahead. As Jennifer ventured deeper into the water, a dense fog rolled in, further obscuring her vision. The boat's light cut through the mist, creating an eerie halo around her. The rhythmic hum of the engine provided some semblance of reassurance, but it was quickly drowned out by a distant, haunting melody. She strained her ears, trying to identify the source of the haunting tune. It seemed to grow louder and more distinct, echoing through the fog. Jennifer's heart pounded in her chest as she realized the melody was coming from the depths below. It was as if the ocean itself was singing a mournful, melancholic song. Her mind filled with a mixture of curiosity and trepidation. What could be causing such an ethereal sound? Her hands gripped the steering wheel tightly as she navigated through the fog, drawn to the source of the melody. The closer she got, the more uneasy she felt. The water around her seemed to churn with unseen forces, an ominous presence lurking beneath the surface. As Jennifer strained her eyes to pierce through the mist, a ghostly figure emerged from the darkness. It was a woman, draped in a tattered white dress, her long, flowing hair floating around her like seaweed. She reached out towards Jennifer, her mournful eyes filled with sorrow and longing. Terrified, Jennifer tried to steer the boat away, but an unseen force held her in place. The ghostly woman's voice echoed in her mind, pleading for help, begging Jennifer to release her from her watery prison. The intensity of the situation overwhelmed Jennifer, and she closed her eyes, desperately hoping it was all just a nightmare. When she opened her eyes, the fog had dissipated, and the ghostly apparition was gone. Jennifer found herself alone in the middle of the open sea, the moon casting a faint glow on the water's surface. Her boat drifted aimlessly, and she realized with a sinking feeling that she had lost her way. Jennifer's heart raced as panic set in. She frantically scanned the horizon, searching for any familiar landmarks. But the vast expanse of the open sea offered no solace, only a sense of overwhelming insignificance. She was adrift, both physically and emotionally. Hours passed, and Jennifer's hope began to wane. She had no means of communication, no way to call for help. The realization of her vulnerability sank in, intensifying the feeling of isolation. Her mind was consumed by thoughts of her loved ones, wondering if she would ever see them again. Exhausted and defeated, Jennifer collapsed onto the boat's deck. Tears mingled with the salt water on her cheeks as she contemplated her fate. The night stretched on, seemingly endless, as if time itself had come to a standstill. Just as despair threatened to consume her entirely, a distant light flickered on the horizon. A surge of hope coursed through Jennifer's veins as she strained her eyes to see. Gradually, the light grew brighter, revealing the silhouette of a passing vessel. Relief washed over her, and she mustered the last reserves of her strength to signal for help. The passing ship responded to her distress signals and altered its course, drawing nearer with each passing minute. Jennifer's heart soared as she realized she would soon be rescued from her watery prison. She had survived the darkness and the unknown, emerging stronger and more appreciative of life's fragile moments. As the rescue ship pulled alongside Jennifer's small boat, a crew member reached out to help her aboard. She clung to their outstretched hand, feeling the warmth of human contact after what felt like an eternity of solitude. The crew's reassuring smiles and comforting words melted away the fear that had consumed her. Wrapped in a blanket, Jennifer stood on the deck of the rescue ship, watching as her own boat, her sanctuary-turned-nightmare, disappeared into the distance. The sun began to rise, casting its golden light across the tranquil waters. She breathed in deeply, savoring the fresh air and the taste of freedom. Weeks later, back on solid ground, Jennifer recounted her harrowing ordeal to friends and family. The experience had left an indelible mark on her soul, a reminder of the fragility of life and the strength that resides within us all. She vowed to never take the simple joys for granted, to cherish each moment with gratitude and a renewed sense of purpose. And though she would never fully understand the mysteries that had unfolded that fateful night, Jennifer knew that sometimes it is through confronting our deepest fears that we find the courage to navigate the darkest waters. Ricky was a seasoned sailor who had spent most of his life on the open waters. He had seen his fair share of storms, treacherous waves, and unpredictable tides. Despite the risks, Ricky loved the thrill of sailing. He often embarked on solo voyages, finding solace in the vastness of the ocean. One sunny morning, Ricky set out on his boat, the Seabird, for what he anticipated to be a routine adventure. He planned to sail along the coast and explore some hidden coves that he had heard about from fellow sailors. As he navigated the calm waters, he couldn't shake off a strange feeling that something was amiss. Nevertheless, he continued, determined to uncover the mysteries that awaited him. As Ricky sailed farther from the shore, dark clouds started to gather overhead. The once calm sea grew restless, and the wind picked up, howling through the rigging of his boat. Ricky quickly realized that he was caught in an unexpected storm, far more powerful than anything he had encountered before. The waves grew larger and more menacing with every passing moment. Struggling to maintain control of the Seabird, Ricky battled the tempestuous conditions, clinging to the hope that he would survive the ordeal. The storm raged on for hours, the waves crashing against the hull, threatening to capsize the boat. Ricky's heart pounded in his chest as he desperately tried to steer the vessel away from the oncoming onslaught of water. Just when Ricky thought he couldn't hold on any longer, a massive wave loomed in the distance. It towered above him, casting a shadow over the tiny boat. The wave crashed down with such force that it sent Ricky hurtling into the depths of the sea. Panic set in as he struggled to swim to the surface, the churning waters engulfing him. As Ricky emerged gasping for air, he realized he had been separated from the Seabird. He frantically looked around, hoping to spot his boat in the vast expanse of the ocean, but it was nowhere to be seen. The storm still raged, and darkness was descending upon him. Cold, tired, and disoriented, Ricky was left to his own devices in the treacherous waters. Thoughts of survival raced through his mind as he fought against the currents, desperately trying to stay afloat. The minutes turned into hours, and hope began to fade. Just when Ricky thought his end was near, a faint light caught his attention in the distance. It was a glimmer of hope amidst the desolation. Summoning the last reserves of his strength, he swam towards the light, praying it would lead him to safety. As Ricky swam towards the flickering light, his weary body ached with exhaustion. Every stroke became more difficult, but his determination to survive propelled him forward. The light grew brighter, and with each passing moment, Ricky's hopes soared higher. Finally, after what seemed like an eternity, Ricky reached the source of the light. It was a small fishing boat, barely visible amidst the stormy sea. The crew on board, alerted by Ricky's desperate cries for help, had thrown a lifebuoy towards him. With their assistance, Ricky was pulled aboard, gasping for breath and shivering uncontrollably. The fishermen, a compassionate group of individuals, wrapped Ricky in warm blankets and offered him hot tea. They listened intently as he recounted the terrifying ordeal he had just endured. They marveled at his resilience and commended his bravery for navigating through such treacherous waters. The storm eventually subsided, revealing a calm sea under a starlit sky. The fishermen, recognizing Ricky's love for sailing, offered him a place on their boat for the journey back to shore. Grateful for their kindness, Ricky accepted their offer, cherishing the warmth and safety that now surrounded him. As the fishing boat made its way back to land, Ricky couldn't help but reflect on the harrowing experience he had endured. He realized that the sea, despite its beauty, held an immense power that demanded respect. It was a humbling reminder of the fragility of human life in the face of nature's fury. Back on solid ground, Ricky bid farewell to the fisherman who had saved his life. He knew he had been given a second chance, and he vowed to approach his future sailing adventures with greater caution and preparedness. The once fearless sailor now possessed a newfound appreciation for the perils that awaited him on the open waters. Ricky's story spread among the local sailing community, inspiring others to approach their own maritime journeys with a deeper sense of respect and vigilance. He became a living testament to the dangers of the sea, a reminder that even the most experienced sailors can fall victim to its unpredictable nature. From that day forward, Ricky continued to sail, but with a heightened awareness of the forces that surrounded him. He embarked on new adventures, exploring uncharted waters with a sense of awe and humility. And while the memory of that fateful storm remained etched in his mind, it served as a constant reminder of the indomitable spirit of the sea and the resilience of the human spirit.